tell me, what's the reason why a man refused to have sex or intimacy with his wife if he can? You know, what I'm saying is he doesn't have a sexual misfunction, you know, or dysfunction, I should say. He just doesn't want to touch her. I want to address that. The reason why a man wouldn't want to touch his wife. Could it be possibly, you know, something she said, she's not pretty enough, or what? I mean, what's inside of a man's mind?
Well, I mean, there's several things. Now, as long as if he's functioning equipment wise, then it's definitely emotional. And when I say emotional, he's turned off because she might have said something and turned him off, and now he's got a grudge and he's holding that grudge, and sometimes those grudges the man just shut down. Example, you know, he might have made a move on her in the bed, and now she like, you know, I don't want to have nothing to do, or I'm not ready, or I'm not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it.
And so now the next morning, you know, he ain't feeling it. So, cause he's like, okay, you turned me off. He rejected. He feel rejected, and because he feel rejected, then he's not gonna have anything externally for her. He ain't trying to hold her hand. He ain't trying to call her and say, baby, how your day going? He ain't thinking about none of that because he's been turned off the night before. So as a result of that, he's holding a grudge and he's not dealing with that. And then at the same time, she might have, again, she's running her mouth, disrespecting him, and men need to be respected. And if he feel disrespected, he's going to be turned off, shut down, bam, and he's not going to want to touch her. So that could be could be a couple of reasons there. And then over a period of time, if he's constantly being put down, put down, put down, put down.
What do you mean by put down?
Being put down in terms of him being respected, in terms of him being appreciated. He feel put down.
So he feel disvalued.
He feel devalued. Because sometimes women have a tendency to devalue what a man does. Oh, that ain't nothing. I don't, you know.
Maybe she doesn't know that she's devalued.
And here's the thing that make men feel valued. Men want to feel like they are needed. And if a woman act like she don't need him or treat him like she doesn't need him, that's a turn off. Because men want to feel like they're needed. And if she want to feel like, well, I'm going to let this man know I don't have to have, or that kind of thing, then yeah, that's going to shut him down. So that's a number of reasons why a man just shut down. And a lot of times it's because the sisters, they got some mouths on them. They be cutting up and turning them off and don't even realize it. She through with it.
So why is
and he holding on to the feeling of being put down. So he still holding a grudge. And then he shut down and he don't want to talk about it because he mad. And in some cases, some of them don't know how to talk about it. So they internalize and keep it in, but they vent by not doing certain things. So they purposely don't call her, purposely don't communicate, purposely don't do certain things, because now they're venting out their anger in different ways because they've been hurt. And then we men has always been taught, well, you don't let nobody know you hurt, or you supposed to suck it up. You ain't supposed to, express yourself that you hurt. You don't never tell a woman you hurt. But so while they're hurting, they internalizing it and they venting it in different ways. So all of that is part of the shutdown and the breakdown. And as a result of that, no, they don't want to touch. And then the other issue is eventually, if this situation don't improve, then they'll find themselves going in another direction possibly even an affair. And that's another issue to itself, because now that creates another problem. It compounds the problem.
So actually, well, no, I don't want to say that, but I do want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Nagging.
Nagging.
Is that such a big turnoff to men, and why?
Well,
Why?
Because
What's nagging to you?
nagging is always talking about the problem, always talking about the problem, always communicating the dislike. You don't never throw out the garbage. You don't never throw out the garbage. Okay, finally he throws the garbage out. But when he throws the garbage out,
That's another problem.
no, nothing said. He could reverse the whole situation and be consistent with throwing out the garbage, and as a result of that, nothing said. As just like she nagged him about what he wasn't doing, she don't affirm him about what he is doing. So he just look at the nagging is always that negative communication.
Well, do men ever take in consideration that that's that woman's norm? What I mean about that is this. Suppose the woman was raised up in that type of environment,
Mm-hmm.
and she never heard her mom give her dad affirmation. She doesn't even know what affirming a man is. I mean,
that word may not even know what the word means.
So that's what I'm saying. Could it possibly be it's not as though she doesn't want to give it to him, versus she didn't know she's supposed to be giving it to him, if that makes any sense? In other words, how can I cure what I think is normal? If that's normal, if that's normal to me as a woman, then how can I cure it? So with that being said, I need to be exposed to what's the normal way to talk to a man without being attacked or punished by my man.
Well, her willingness to listen. Some of them don't want to listen. I mean, you the guy, there go the turn off. He's trying to talk to her about herself, and she reacts, and she's again back to putting him down. And at a certain point, man get tired of getting cut up all the time. He get tired of being called out his name. He's getting tired of being put down. Oh, you a punk. Nobody can't say nothing. Yada, yada, yada. And he like, okay. So now his manhood is emasculated. And so he like, forget it. Forget I ever said anything. And boom, again, the turnout. And it's sad because sometimes she doesn't know what a healthy relationship or a healthy communication is like. And then sometimes he don't. Because sometimes he create his own problem. And they're back and forth on each other. He putting her down, so she putting him down.
Well, I think,
so now you got this vicious cycle going on.
I think both of them are victims when that happens. So
victim of ignorance, victim of not knowing how to communicate, and not realizing that that's the problem. And as a result of that, they either recognize it and get some help, or they're heading down the wrong.
Define these words to me.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, anyone on YouTube see that we're black. So define these words, or this statement, I should say.
Okay.
Black woman attitude.